I speedrun Cobalt Core. I am not especially great at the game in my opinion. I don't have amazing decision making or hair trigger reflexes. I don't do math well on the fly, and my hand movements are a little unreliable. But that doesn't matter, because Cobalt Core is a roguelike, and the most significant part of speedrunning Cobalt Core is trying and trying and trying. Roguelike speedruns tend to be luck-based. You can optimize within your luck, and there are ways a player can screw things up to make it slower, but usually getting faster relies on getting lucky. That means there's the basic strategy, there are specific ship strategies, and the rest is just trying and trying and trying again to see how fast my runs are. And this is all for a single run speedrun leaderboard. There is a speedrun leaderboard for doing the whole plot, which seems cool, but it's a much harder thing to commit time to. I want to talk to you about speedrunning Cobalt Core, and I want you to have information for trying it. I'm going to present this as how I think about it. I think it's fun, and I guess this is me sharing my notes in the hopes of encouraging more people to try it out. Ready? Okay, there's your introduction. Let's go. Setup. I crew my ship with Riggs, Perry, and Drake. I take the Artemis, and I use the normal difficulty. I pick this crew because Riggs starts me with Draw Shot, which is the heart of the run. This run aims to maximize damage as quickly as possible, which means usually Draw Shot A, a free damage increasing card, and either a free attack or a multi-attack, which we get from Perry, who starts me with Multi-Shot, which I can upgrade to be 1 energy for 3 damage. This is the best damage per cost I can find on any starting card without extra components. She also adds Escalate, a common, to the pool, which is one of the best damage multipliers. Drake adds Heatwave to the card pool, which is basically a better version of Escalate, and for the early game, she adds Emp Slug to the deck. That card is useful for finishing some early fights faster, but most runs eventually get rid of all her cards. Emp Slug. Yeah, I'm not editing that out. These are all the cards I care about. My aim is for the end of the game deck to be like 5 cards or maybe 7, and for them to include one of Escalate or Heatwave, Draw Shot A, Multi-Shot A, and maybe Basic Shot A and Basic Dodge A. Basic Dodge is necessary for some encounters, but sometimes I get lucky and they don't come up. But there's also some artifacts that replace the need for it. Once I have an Escalate or a Heatwave, I ignore all extra cards. That means I start the game, pick these options, and restart until I get the Remove 2 cards option. I want to remove Scramble and Heat Sink, which are cards that don't do any damage, so my deck is, as much as possible, attacks. It's possible with this setup to do 5 damage a turn before upgrades, and by making the deck as small as possible, I'm likely to see the EMP Slug every turn. See, I got it right that time. I use the Artemis because it has the largest starting hand and nothing that interrupts fights. The Ares is smaller, the Jupiter can do more damage, and the Tide Runner has great movement, but they all do something that changes my focus and means I can't play as quickly as possible. The extra second of playing with the Ares does add up. Any ship ability isn't as good for me as just the cast cycle of Draw Shot A and a damage booster. More choices for artifacts feels nice, but it's rarely that big a deal. Navigation. The best thing to navigate to is, in order, artifacts, repair yards, events, then elites, and common enemies. My thinking for this priority order is: artifacts are almost all good, and also always fast. Repair yards are necessary because you usually want to shrink your deck or upgrade your cards. At a certain point, repair yards don't offer you anything, and they have a prompt question of, "Are you sure?" when you say you want to leave, which can be a bit of a time suck. Events often let you skip them or rush through them. Soggins and Sasha are both great because you can just straight up ignore them and you're missing nothing doing it. Grandma is a great event because she can delete an unnecessary card, and the Wandering AI that upgrades 2 of your cards is also good. The best thing is that all the upgrades in this strategy want to be type A. Oh, and I can also almost always rely on Black Hole to take a card I don't want out of my deck because it will prioritize upgraded things and high damage things. Great place for me to get rid of EMP Slug. Elites are slightly better than common enemies because they usually die just as quickly as common enemies, and they can give you artifacts which can hypothetically speed things up. There comes a point where the artifacts won't do anything to speed you up, so that's around when I stop prioritizing them. Artifacts. There are some artifacts worth having, and some artifacts I try to avoid. The good ones are Crosslink and Cafe Rush. They can replace dodge. Hull Plating, which compensates for all the damage I take. Prepped Batteries, amazing artifact. It allows for bigger first turns, and usually that's all you need. Cockpit Lock-On and Fracture Detection increase your damage usually. Fracture Detection can result in sometimes annoying Sir Ratso, but that's a very rare thing. Sharp Edges is 3 more points of damage. Glass Cannon and Thermoreactor make for more explosive turns, and they have irrelevant drawbacks. They're like a second prepped batteries. Quick Draw is basically having 2 cards removed from the deck for a common artifact. Absolutely amazing. Flywheel, if you're using Draw Shot to draw 3 cards, gives me almost but not quite a full energy point every turn. If I have prepped batteries, it feels more like just a full extra energy point every encounter. Berserker Drive isn't as good as Escalate or Heatwave, but I will still usually take it because boss options are bad and my opponents don't get to shoot back. Ignition Coil is worth it when I have Heatwave or expect I can get Heatwave. Fights will be over usually too quickly for it to matter otherwise. The bad ones are, or can be, Simplicity, sometimes. I normally will take Simplicity as the best boss artifact, but there will be times when your deck is already under 6 cards and Simplicity will force you to get rid of 3 of them. Adaptive Plating and Nanofiber Hull they both add an extra bit of time to the end of fights, and I don't like spending that extra time. High Frequency Intercom makes my deck bigger, which stops loops. Power Diversion takes some damage off the front of a cycle in exchange for 1 more loop through, and I don't like it. It makes the math messy. Genesis takes way too long to clean up the trash cards, and what artifacts are you going to get for it? Dirty Engines tracks across turns, so if you take Dirty Engines, you'll be spending half of the extra energy it gives you getting rid of the trash it gives you. I don't like that deal. Ricochet Paddle doesn't work for how I play. I don't like spending movement to get around the turned around missiles. It's easier to just shoot them once and go through them. All the other artifacts reach the lofty heights of fine, with maybe the Jettison Hatch being more valuable the earlier you get it. Most don't contribute that much once you have the basics down. This lack of vital artifacts also means I think it's okay to give Mecha Drake my warp drive if she wants it. Skipping artifacts takes as much time as taking them though, so I don't worry about it if I accidentally grab something that's not amazing. Then there's Spaceships and Encounters. The first encounter is always the same and it sets the pace for the run. If possible, on the second turn I want to hit the slot next to the enemy gun that's going to give it shields with an EMP Slug. That stops it shielding up, which means you aren't fighting against shields for your next round of attacks. If you do this consistently, the whole fight takes 3 turns, and it's always worth taking that first hit of 2 damage to finish the fight faster. The Nat Scout is a time sink, and I hope to avoid it if I can. If I do have to deal with it, I try to stun the auto dodge in the first round, otherwise avoiding it with lunges and saving up dodge points effectively means the run will be dead. It's too slow a fight for how little health it has. The Stag Fighter is a surprisingly slow fight, so I try and avoid it. When Brimford offers an artifact, I avoid taking it. Spike 2 in the Lazuli Nebula has a pattern where they first get the retaliation buff, which punishes you for attacking them, and then the second turn they will give you an auto attack card. The auto attack cards are great, I love having them, especially because I'm usually boosting my damage, but stunning to avoid the retaliation buff speeds up the fight. The Goliath is another huge time sink, and it can be a run killer if it shows up before I have a damage booster and have already taken EMP Slug out of my deck. The Rail Cannon is an easy fight, especially because by that stage I can do a good chunk of damage very easily. but it does have 2 points where you have to sit and wait, which means it literally can't be the fastest version of a fight. Also, the elites in Void's Cradle are a coin flip between very fast, the buried relic you can one-shot if the run's going well, or an enormous pain in the ass, because the Rusting Colossus has so much health. Conclusion. Yeah, that's it. That's what I think when I speedrun Cobalt Core. These are the decisions I've made to make myself better at speedrunning it. I hope it's interesting, and I hope it encourages you to try speedrunning the game. I don't think that you should speedrun this game because it'll make you better or it's the best way to play the game, but because it is a very approachable speedrun, and it's really easy to get run times down under 15 minutes for a game that you may have taken hours to finish the first time. If you're curious about speedruns and want to learn about how to engage with them, I really recommend trying Cobalt Core. This isn't me having some great big advantage from a Discord full of helpers after all. I just watched the #1 speedrun, saw how it worked, and went, hang on, is it that easy? And now I've got the #2 speedrun time. For now. Right?